Good morning. It's
Good
Dr.
morning.
That's Dr. Renee, and we are here at blackdoctor.org. And usually, you guys know I'm in the evening on Thursday evenings, but today is a special day. Today is actually my last show of Food Allergy Awareness Week. We've had a really, really awesome, action packed, and lots of information filled week. But I'm so excited that you guys decided to watch. And, Asthma and Allergy Awareness Month is very important to me because in case you didn't know, wrote that lovely book you see in the corner, Mommy, I Can't Breathe, The Modern Guide to Navigate Allergies and Asthma. And of course, I think my favorite book, No, Renee, You Are Allergic, for my little people. So in case you didn't already know, I have food allergies. I am allergic to eggs, nuts, wheat, rye, barley, chocolate, citrus fruits, and seafood. And so there's a whole lot of other foods because those things are in foods. But yeah, so that's me. And so this week we've had one other food. We had Nicole Wilson with Everybody's Eating. And so today I'm so excited. I have my fellow West Indian, Danielle Tubbs with Tubby's Taste. And you guys, the funniest thing is both of these ladies are in Chicago. Chicago is killing it. So the entrepreneurial space in Chicago is smoking. But you guys, please do me a favor, share the broadcast because I guarantee you know somebody that has food allergies or is vegan because her products are vegan. And so I want you to definitely share because this is something we can support our own. We always talk about that. Let's support our own. So please share the broadcast. Let me know where you're watching from. And I'm so excited. Danielle, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Renee. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, you guys, let me tell you how I found Danielle. Danielle was blessed to be on GMA3 on Good Friday this year. And I was like, oh my God. And I kept hearing Chicago and was like, wait a minute. And so I found her and was like, oh, she has to be on. It's Food Allergy Awareness Week. And I can actually eat most of her products. So I'm excited. So, Danielle, how did you? Because I mean, a lot of people see that there's not stuff on the market that they want, but they don't go and start a company.
Yeah.
So how did you? And I know that food wasn't necessarily your space. So how did you even get the idea? And then how'd you start?
Well, so it's an interesting story. I guess I could go way back because I think that there are different parts of my life that have led to this moment. So I grew up in Miami with a Jamaican family. My mom, my aunt, my grandmother are who I like to call my three Jamaican cake ladies. So they would make a lot of traditional
Black
cakes for
cake?
people. Yep, black cake, rum cake, sweet potato pudding. And so they made those kind of three cakes mostly for people in the community and would sell them around the holidays or if you had a wedding or something like that. And so I would have to help them in the kitchen, sifting flour, cutting parchment paper. And I hated it. I just wanted to watch Nickelodeon and be a kid. So it's kind of funny that now I'm in the business of baking. But I grew up with them and helping them in the kitchen. And then when I graduated from college, I moved to Chicago on my own. And after a couple years, I took up baking from scratch just as a hobby. And I think there's something about growing up with people who look like you doing something that already gives you the, ability or confidence to think that you can too. So I thought everyone could bake. I didn't know that this was a talent until my roommate was like, no, girl, I burn things from a box. And so I was like, oh, okay, this is like an actual, okay, not everyone can do this. So then I spent years exploring, baking all sorts of things, bringing them to work, church events, parties. So, I was everybody's favorite coworker, friend, just always like, will you please do me a kindness and taste test this, And so none of my stuff was vegan at the time. I was kind of in denial about being lactose intolerant. So I was bringing things to parties. And one of my friends who's vegan was like, I wish you would make something that everybody could enjoy. And so, out of trying to be more inclusive and, make something that more people could have, I got into the kitchen and I started experimenting. And I was surprised, but the bug kind of bit me. I loved making things that fit the criteria of being vegan, but also pass my taste test. And so my last name's Tubbs. My college nickname was Tubby. And so the business is called Tubby's Taste. And over time, I saw that nut free was really important to a lot of people that I was serving. And I just decided to make everything also soy free. Because in the vegan space, sometimes that's a thing that people are trying to avoid. Yeah, so my cookies are vegan, nut and soy free. And over time, I also realized that growing up with my Jamaican cake ladies, growing up in Miami with sugar cane on the side of my yard, fresh coconut trees, like mangoes of all different varieties, those were kind of the ingredients that were inspiring me. I didn't want to make something that was just like a funfetti or red velvet, which are delicious, but I wasn't drawn to make those things. I was drawn to like combine flavors like mango coconut lime and coconut oatmeal cinnamon and grapefruit pineapple hibiscus. So I like to say that Tubby's Taste, we are a cookie company that is boldly flavored and Jamaican inspired, and our cookies are vegan, nut, and soy free.
Wow. That's awesome. So when I was growing up, of course, there was no such thing as things being cooked in nut-free spaces or, manufactured in nut-free facilities and stuff like that. Schools weren't even nut-free,
Yeah.
And so it is so awesome now to be able to have so many options on the market, It's wonderful, and it's really funny how a lot of vegan things actually I can't eat still.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuts and things.
Right. But when I saw your stuff, I was so excited. I was like, I can eat these. I can eat these. I can eat these. So, and I'm more like, I am allergic to citrus fruits, as I said. So the grapefruit is out.
Yeah.
But I'm a cinnamon girl. Like, if
Okay.
anything says cinnamon, I am like its best friend. Snickerdoodles are my favorite cookie. My favorite drink is a St. John.
Yeah.
Cinnamon margarita. I mean,
you need to try the Taste of Paradise.
Yes.
Or the our island spice, which is our ginger and sweet
So you
molasses.
clearly didn't get my last email because I said that.
No, yes, that is. We'll be sending you some.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the two that I was like, oh yes, that has me written all over it. But yeah, my family, of course, they can eat any and everything, and my dad eats mangoes, I swear, year round. Even though, but yeah, I think year round he eats them. But I think it is so awesome that. So, are you vegan?
I currently eat mostly plant-based, but I mostly just stay away from dairy because
it
doesn't
not
love
your
me.
friend. Yeah. I understand. But I don't know the percentages, but there is, and actually, if you watch the show Monday with Dr. Thompson, my allergist, he did say the percentage of Black people with lactose intolerance, and I can't remember it, but there's a statistic out there for that. But it is a large percent of, But I also say that I'm not lactose intolerant, but I grew up. No, well, listen, I grew up allergic to milk, is what they said, and then when I went to college, my mom was like, "I think you probably can do skim milk," so I did skim milk, and I used to drink 2 gallons a week. I loved it.
How? Just by the glass?
Yes.
Wow.
I would have a mug in the refrigerator, mugs in the refrigerator, so it was really cold. Oh my God, it was so good. So I went off of dairy milk, 2017, because I did this crazy diet where I couldn't eat anything basically. And I did it cold turkey, and I think I went probably 6 to 8 months without it. Wow. And then I was like, okay, you've lost weight. Let's treat yourself. Go and get a gallon of milk. So I bought a gallon of milk. Do you know it was like one mug, and all of a sudden I felt the inflammation. I was clearing my throat every 5 minutes and was like, oh my God, it's true.
Yeah. If I have anything with dairy in it, I can't sleep at night. Like I have just like, post-nasal drip and all of that immediately. Yeah.
And I
know that something was like laced with dairy when that happens.
Yeah. I was like, and I was like, I don't like this, because I did that all the time before. And I was like, I didn't, I was just used to it.
Yeah.
So not doing it for so long, I was like, what's going on all of a sudden? So I'm a convert. So oat milk is my best friend.
I love oat milk.
I love oat milk. I'm
Yeah.
very particular on my brands. Oatly, Chobani, give me a call. But
Yeah.
yeah, I those are the only two I will drink.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
I
Can
am
you drink
really so me and coconut milk. Coconut milk needs to go in things.
coconut?
Drinking it and coconut water.
Coconut water?
No.
As a Caribbean
I
person,
was gonna say, don't you take my West Indian card.
I just, ooh, fresh coconut water and coconut jelly. That was like my childhood. Oh,
Now, what I need to do though is like I remember when we were about to leave Antigua, we had a family reunion a couple years ago, and my aunt, she bought the coconut on the side of the street and she,
yeah.
did the whole thing. I need to try it that way to see if maybe I see a difference in that and, the ones that they sell at the store. I don't know, but I'm not fond of it. But I
Okay.
will put coconut milk and rice and curry
Yeah.
chicken. My the lady that taught me to make my West Indian dishes is Jamaican,
Oh,
and we have a theory that Jamaicans put coconut milk in everything.
yeah,
But
right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
whereas not
It's good.
necessarily do Antiguans, but
Really?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah, every island's different.
right, and I mean, food's all good, but yeah.
Hmm.
But I had when I lived in England, that's when I learned. And my coconut milk, it was a solid bar,
Yes.
and I would
My
shake
mom has
that.
sent me that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I do coconut milk that way. Now, when I first decided we are not doing dairy, I still wanted to go to Starbucks and get my latte.
Hmm.
So we tried coconut milk. Oh my God. It was like they put a pound of sugar in my latte. And
Really?
I don't put sugar in my latte. So I usually drink matcha latte or chai tea latte.
I
I
love the
don't put,
chai
yeah,
latte.
I
Yeah.
don't put sugar in it. So when
Mhm.
they did that, it tasted so sweet. I didn't like it. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I get 10 pumps of chai. They always are like, excuse me, did you mean 10? I meant 10 pumps.
Is it just like burning your throat? Like you like
So
it?
peppery. I'm Antiguan. I'm West
Yeah.
Indian. It's
Yeah.
peppery, and I love
Yes.
the pepper.
Yeah.
Because I actually made straight black tea before, and straight black tea, pepper is an ingredient.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So that was my thing with coconut milk, and we just never could figure out the right. You got to
Yeah.
have the right recipe. I could not figure it out. I tried everything. I would go to Starbucks and say, okay, let's do 10 pumps to we couldn't figure it out. So I said, not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
But the oat milk is great.
Yeah, and now Starbucks does have oat milk, so
Mhm.
kudos to Starbucks for doing that. And they have a lot of non-dairy options. Like I said, it's like
Mhm.
all over the place. It's not even just during fruit allergy week, like all over the place, everywhere nowadays. You can get things that don't have certain things in them.
Mhm.
And substitutes, even bakeries now. There's whole bakeries that are nut free now.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just a different world. It's just all about, doing your research and figuring it out. Do you have, I know that Nicole mentioned some sort of certifications or something she had about being nut free and she's top 14 allergen free, which is
Mhm.
totally different. But
Mhm.
do you have those things too? Because I know that you would then show up in different places if you
Yeah.
had that.
No, not yet. This is kind of the summer of working on getting
Okay.
everything done certification wise, just having the money to do all
Right.
of those things.
When did you start?
I started, so it's kind of like there's multiple timelines. I think with everyone who starts a business, right? There's like, this is when I filed my LLC, and this is when I actually quit my job. So funny enough, I had been going to therapy in like 2014. And over time, like I was going to deal with like grief from my dad passing. And my therapist was helping me work through that. And then over time, I kind of like, switched the subject to complaining about my day jobs. And so over time, she was like, well, if you could do anything, what would you do? If you get paid to do anything, what would you do? And at this point, I had been doing Tubby's Taste as a hobby for 2 years. And so I was like, I would do Tubby's Taste, but I don't know how to get paid doing that. Like, so she was like, well, okay, well, the next time we meet, I want you to do your research and figure out what it would take to make your business legit. And so we met 2 weeks later, and after our session, she's like, "Oh yeah, did you do your homework? Did you find out what it would take to make Tubby's Taste legit?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I bought a domain name and now I'm an LLC." So I immediately did that in 2014, and then was still treating it kind of as a side hustle. And then over time, I got into different like coaching programs for entrepreneurship. And they encouraged me to like, okay, stop just selling to your friends and family, and to your Facebook friends. You need to like start doing farmers markets. And so in order to do that, you had to get into a commercial kitchen here in Chicago and all of those things. So I started doing that, selling out at farmers markets, being called the vegan cookie lady, and starting to sell online. And so in 2018, I quit my full-time job, picked up 2 side hustles to like pay the bills, but still be able to be flexible and do pop-ups and things. And then when the pandemic hit, like a lot of people, like my side hustles died. So I started pursuing the business full-time. And the latter part of the pandemic of 2020, so June to December 2020, I saw a huge uptick in sales because, everyone was staying home and sending things to each other and wanting to support Black-owned businesses. So yeah, that kind of catapulted the business even further. And yeah, so it's been really interesting to see the growth and the changes from the beginning and up until now.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. So, in case you all didn't know, May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. We have a really special guest coming May 26th for mental health, to talk about mental health and, well, not really, to talk about her story, which will involve mental health. Let's say that. So, I'm glad that you said that you went and saw therapy, because this is blackdoctor.org, and we do promote that people please go get therapy. It's awful to have a death in the family and you never get over it, and 20 years later you realize that the last 20 years this happened, because you never dealt with what. Also, I like that you said your therapist is the one that said, well, what do we need to do to people don't understand what happens in therapy. So I'm glad that you said that, because people think that they just sit there and talk and talk and talk, and the other person doesn't say anything. No, I mean, my psychologist was amazing. I didn't complain about work much. My job I loved. It was some other outside things. And she was like, well, Renee, you need to change that. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. I went in there for one thing and I came out with a whole life-changing, business.
That's awesome, and maybe that was what was supposed to happen, but yeah, the pandemic really, especially because your mail order, the pandemic was a wonderful thing. I was doing all my grocery shopping towards, I think from April onwards, I was doing all my grocery shopping Instacart, Amazon Fresh, whatever way I needed to get to whatever, make sure I got all the stores I wanted. It had to be multiple different apps. And then just buying, like, I'm a Thinks ambassador, and even Thinks, I was like, hey, this is the time to do Thinks, because 1, you don't have to go to the store. They just gonna mail you the panties, and 2, they're panties and they washable. So you don't have to worry about going back and needing to have Instacart pick you up more pads, So it was really, really convenient. And that was where I tried a lot of things. Like, I didn't hear about you because I'd have tried you too, but I tried Partake Foods, and I don't know if you're familiar with them. But yeah, I tried her cookies in that time because they were on Amazon. I'm like, hey. And then I tried, what else? I mean, I think I've tried a lot of little things that I saw on Amazon. I was like, oh, and so yeah, the pandemic was very interesting in that aspect. But I told everyone, because we were doing so much programming in 2020 with COVID for Black Doctor. I told everyone, I understand this is, a lot's going on. And in Chicago, our numbers were horrible. People were dying quickly.
I was scared to go outside.
That's why I was doing the delivery. And I would tell them, knock on the door and leave them at the step. I never even saw them. I literally didn't leave my place for 14 weeks. Like I said, I have asthma. What I did not want to happen, because right now I don't take daily meds, I did not want to get COVID and then reverse all of the work that I had done with my lungs and have to go back on medication.
That's truly scary.
Yeah, so I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going
Mhm.
to get it. I'm just not going to get it. So I'll just stay in. But we talked so much, and I kept saying, I understand because I was diagnosed clinically depressed in high school. Completely understand that. But I also know that what is not going to happen is I'm not going to come out of this worse than I went in it.
Mm, mm.
So I'm going to make changes, whatever those changes may be. I'm going to make changes and I'm going to do things to make myself go further. I see Kiana is on. I joined a mastermind, Queens of Capital. Kiana is one of the queens with me. Thank you for watching, Kiana.
All right.
I lost, I don't know right now the number. I think it's 60 plus at this point, maybe 70 plus pounds.
Wow.
Because in the pandemic, in those 14 weeks, I was eating like it was nobody's business because my daddy got sick March 24th of 2020 and I couldn't be with him and I had no control over the things that I needed to control. So I could
Mhm.
control what I put in my mouth and I just
Yeah.
was eating it. So, so that I was going to be rolling out of the pandemic if I hadn't gotten it together.
Yeah.
So I was glad that, I was like, nope, we got to get this under control. And in 2021, I was like, okay, what? No, 2020, August 2020. I was like, what are we doing?
Mhm.
Switch the narrative. We got to switch this up. So I
Yeah.
started working out first, then I changed my eating and stuff. But yeah, I was like, that's what you need to do. And I'm glad that your therapist was like, you need to do what you need to do. And
Yeah.
then, after you got the LLC, it's like I keep telling people, you take one step, even if you have no idea, because you had no idea what you were doing.
No.
You just take the first step, and it's amazing how the second step will show up, and then the third,
Mhm.
and you just keep going. Like
Yeah.
you just keep going.
Yeah.
And how did you get on GMA3?
So, after having like a successful, latter half of 2020 with the business, in 2021, like I had been running the business since 2014.
Right.
And I think because I had a job and I was doing it kind of part-time, and here and there, I really couldn't put as much energy and
You
effort.
weren't treating it like a business, you were treating it like a hobby.
Yes, yes. So once I was able to start treating it like a business and started bringing in like enough revenue, I had continued to apply for like grants, and different programs. And a lot of times, you think like a grant will be great for me to like start my business off with some seed money. But a lot of times they want to see you already successful, having some traction. And so the 2020 revenue that I made allowed me to like, I won 6 months of free kitchen rent at my kitchen, like mentorship. I just started like seeing the ball rolling in 2021 for different programs that I became a part of. I won a $10,000 grant from I Fund Women, and that's what I used for like my packaging. And once I was able to do that, I remember being in a pitch competition and I did very well, but I didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did was I listened to everyone else's pitches and kind of listened to like all of their anything that they had, like as far as resources that they had been a part of or things that they had gotten. Like I was writing notes. I was like, okay, let me write that down. Let me
You sound
apply to
like
that. Let me see what this is. And so one person mentioned being a client of a pro bono PR firm. And I was like, what? This whole time I've had a great product. Everyone has, for the most part, loved it. But I never had marketing money or PR money or, it's just kind of like if you know, you know. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. So
right.
at that point, I went home that day after not winning and being sad. I applied to their website and just like filled out a form. Come work with us. So they responded pretty quickly and they're like, we're actually booked for the rest of the year, but we'll, circle back with you when we're ready to take on new clients. And so in November, so this is July of 2021. And then in November, I was brought on after like a process, brought on by a pro bono PR firm called PR for Good. And so they work with BIPOC women founders. And I think I may be their third or fourth client so far. And through them, I've been able to get on our local Chicago, like NBC, ABC, WGN, and then of course like Good Morning America and Eater. Yeah, so it's been amazing. Yeah, those are the kind of things that can, affect you for years. You can put in all of your, I don't know, all of your social media saying you've been featured in things, or just helps your SEO. People find you online easily. And it's great for credibility. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So I'm a publicist too, so I get it. I get it.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people would be terrified because you have so many different varieties, but you're like, no, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
No, seriously, you know what I mean? Like you go to a restaurant and they start the restaurant and they have 2 dishes.
Yeah.
Because they're terrified.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll expand later.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is I have 5 main flavors right now, and I originally had 7. And so I've had people, especially from like the GMA airing, they went on and they bought like all 5 flavors, and I send out like a card with an order that has like the 7 on there. So people are like, hey, we tried all 5 and we love them, but what about these other
2?
One, our production run for our packaging only allowed us to do 5 SKUs. So we don't have bags for those 2 flavors. And also we just don't have the capacity. It's a small team. It's me and like 2 other people producing the cookies in a private kitchen. So just so you know, it's very interesting when you do get a lot of orders too. And in this world that we're living in, the world of Amazon, everyone expects their cookies like the next day, which was shock. It was a small percentage of people, but I was just like, you saw the segment, right? You saw me personally in the kitchen, right? Did you think that was code for like 100 people back here, making or, our cookies are, we do not have preservatives in them. So when it comes to things like selling on Amazon, that's tricky because their warehouses
for a while.
Yeah, you have to have a super long shelf life. So that's a tricky thing, because I feel like, shouldn't we be moving towards not wanting foods that can last for a year?
Yeah, there's that meme that has like the hamburger that was like
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or the fries, the McDonald's fries that are still like intact from like 1959 or something. Yeah, I've seen those. It's like,
you're right. We should probably move towards having, better foods.
Yeah.
I tend to believe, and this is why I also, because I do Weight Watchers and I like to scan the UPCs so I can see how many points. I can't wait so I can scan yours just to see, because I'm sure that they have to be a little lower than, my usual cookies. I'm a cookie person. I like cookies.
Yeah. I don't know. It's truly dessert. I will say that. I believe, there's space for everything.
Right.
Like, the better for you snacks. But for me, I'm like, these are delicious, flavorful desserts for people who can't have dairy, eggs, nuts, and soy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started off as someone who was just, a home baker, coming from those Jamaican cake ladies are not checking for calories,
No, I know this.
And they lace everything with like alcohol,
Right.
So I wonder if in the future that'll be a focus on like a different kind of strain of product.
Right. Maybe for the diabetic friendly, because
Mm-hmm.
of course we know a lot of us have diabetes.
Because I would love to be able to serve more, wider populations in the future, but that would just mean we'd have to grow.
Yeah. But we need everyone to go buy.
Yeah.
Tubby'sCakes.com.
Yes. If you want desserts, swing on
I'm
by.
gonna put it in the chat too, so it'll go up there too. But the other thing I was gonna ask you, what do you use as far as your substitute? Because you have to have something milk adjacent.
So Well, cookies, usually you don't have any kind of milk in, but we use coconut oil instead of butter. And then we use ground flax instead of eggs. So, you could do an egg
Yeah.
replacement, a tablespoon of flax, 3 tablespoons of water, stir it up, let it sit for a little bit, and it
It's
kind of thickens.
gelatinous.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted early on when I was still baking at home for friends, I wanted it to be ingredients that were approachable, nothing too crazy if you were to read the list. And that's one thing that I will say when I'm at markets or festivals and people read the back, they're more concerned about the ingredient list. And they're like, oh, okay, yes, I recognize all of these things. There's nothing weird in here.
Because that's what
Okay.
they're taught. Like, that's what, we've been preaching. Like, you need to read the ingredient list. And if you don't recognize something, then that means it's chemically, chemicals in there and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. It's all the, flour, organic cane sugar, baking soda, salt, all of those things that you're used to. But we replace the eggs and the butter.
Awesome. That is so awesome. You guys, she is her stuff is available in 2 stores in Chicago, Urban
Market over on Chicago and Milwaukee and River West, and then Sugar Beet in Oak Park.
Awesome. So please support. And then so you do have employees, so that's got to be fun too.
Yeah, so I have just a small staff right now. We just finished raising some funds. It closed like on Monday. So that is going to go towards new machinery and then also getting some new hires, because although people love to see my face in the kitchen, I need to be out of there a bit more to be able to work on other things. So it would be great to be able to employ more folks to be able to help us grow.
Now, what does your mom think?
My mom thinks it's kind of funny that I'm like baking, because remember earlier on, I did not want any part in making any of the Jamaican cakes as a child. Like, I wanted to watch Nickelodeon, but she's really proud of me. Like, she was very scared. I think just like being an immigrant mom, like she was very scared when I decided to quit my job. She was just like, what about health insurance? Like, all of those things. But I think she's really impressed and proud that I've been, making it work since then. And she's like sending all the articles and sending all the videos to her friends and showing people. And her doctor, last time I was in Miami, I had to go to her doctor and like just, this is just to talk. Talk. I'm like, this man has a practice to run, and I'm here just shooting the breeze. I'm the only child. So, just the pride and joy, like, here, remember when she was 5? It's like the last time I saw this man, I was 5 years old. So now I'm 33 and so telling him all about the business, brought him some cookies. Like, it was just.
That's cute, though.
Yeah, she's pretty proud.
That's awesome. So do you make the cakes now?
No, I have not made any of the cakes since childhood. No, when I go back, the funny thing is my mom, out of my aunt, my grandmother, my mom is the only one that's still living, and she makes all of the cakes now. So she's like taken over the business. And so when I go back home for Christmas, it's just like cakes everywhere, It's all coworkers,
right,
friends, aunts, all of those people wanting them. So she's keeping that alive for the holidays mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, make sure you get those recipes. Those will be very important to you later in life. So
yes, I've asked her, but you also know Caribbean parents.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
And I'm like, ma'am, can we get some grams or at least a teaspoon, tablespoon, cup? It's that.
I know.
Even trying to cook with her, I'm like, okay, so it's a lot.
Yeah, no, I know. My grandmother lived in New York and I was in Chicago, and I was like, I love oxtails. She's like, you should make them. And I'm like, but how? And so I made them on the stove one time in literally 8 hours. I'm not joking.
No, that's the thing too. It's like I have a boyfriend now and he's like, "Oh, do you make Jamaican food?" And I'm like, Jamaican food is a whole lifestyle. Like Jamaican food is you are in your house for the day,
Well,
you
so
know?
she told me, she goes, "You need a pressure cooker." And I was
Yeah.
like, "But my mom said," and she was like, "You need a pressure cooker." And so, the old pressure cookers back
Yeah.
in the day were kind of, I won't say
Scary.
dangerous, but they were dangerous.
Yeah,
And,
scary.
and so that's why my mom was not keen on them.
Mhm.
Of course, pressure cookers have come a long
Do
way.
you do Instapot?
That's the thing. This was before Instapot. 'Cause
Okay.
I am 15. I'm like almost 15 years older than you. So this is before Instapot.
Yeah.
So I go to Target and I buy a pressure cooker, and it was really easy. It locked in place and it had the little thing that, and then it didn't let you open it until it did that.
Oh, good.
Then you could unlock it. Otherwise, it was locked. You couldn't unlock it. So it had all the safety measures. Girl, them oxtails cooked in 20 minutes. I was like, Grandma,
Wow.
20 minutes.
Did they taste as good?
They were perfect. So I'm like, now what do I put in? We
Yeah.
did it over the phone, and they were fabulous. And I was like, oh. Now the
Wow.
one thing we all are mad we did not get from her was her Johnny cakes.
Oh, yeah.
They are so good, and we're very upset that I think there's one person that might know, but she can't remember where the recipe is. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
My cousin that lived with her at one time. And so hopefully it'll be found. But yeah, her Johnny cakes were heaven. But
Have you
yeah,
tried looking at like recipes online and trying to tweaking them from like starting from
well,
somewhere?
so my sister's a trained chef, and so I might have her, do that. Yeah. But so the food allergy space is my space, but because she's my sister, she kind of has to be in the space because she cooks for me every day. So
This is a beautiful life you are living.
when you love to cook, not my fault.
This is why you're not you're extending your stay. Yeah.
No, look.
Like,
I love my family, and I say that this was the perfect time for this to happen. If there was a perfect time, because I would have been sitting by myself in Chicago, whereas at least I'm with them. So I'm very thankful and grateful for this time, and grateful that I can sit here and do this so that I don't have to be somewhere else. So it's great. But yeah, my sister cooks. She works all day at a job, and then she comes home and cooks dinner for us every day. But my sister and I have to remind the people, and I'll put the link in here. We have a cooking show you can check out. It's called In the Kitchen with Dr. Renee and Chef Alicia, and we make food allergy friendly foods. And so we used an egg substitute that you could buy at you can buy it on Amazon, because I've seen it on Amazon, but you can buy it at the store. Egg replacer, I think, is what it's called. It's in a yellow box or whatever. That's what we used. But like you said, we could use flaxseed, and maybe next time we'll try that. But we made birthday cake. We made potato salad that had no eggs.
wow.
We made French toast that had no eggs. We made brownies that had no eggs or chocolate. Yeah. So
what did you do for the chocolate? Or was it
black beans?
okay? Huh.
So of course, I'm allergic to chocolate, so I had no idea. But my sister tasted it and said it tastes pretty good, like brownies.
Huh? Was it?
No.
Huh? Did this already air? Can I go back?
The videos? I just put the link. I'll send it to you though. But yeah, it's they're already up there. But for me, I never had potato salad, obviously, because it has eggs in it and I can't have eggs. So my sister tasted it and was like, Mom, come taste this. Because the one thing is, I'm the only person that has allergies like this in my house. So everyone else eats everything. So my sister and my mom were like, this tastes like potato salad. My sister's like, if I didn't make it, I would have never known it didn't have eggs in it.
Yeah. Did you guys use that black salt that has like the egg?
No, but we're gonna go look into this now.
I think it's like Indian black salt. You can definitely get it from Amazon, because that's where I got it. And it gives, because when I do like a chickpea tuna salad thing, I usually you only need a pinch. You put a pinch in there and it gives it that flavor, like as if there is like egg in there.
Okay.
So that could be good if you decide to, something that typically has egg, and it smells like it too.
Really?
Like it has that little bit of.
We're gonna have to get that information.
Yeah.
I'll have to
send the name.
Yeah. So the other thing I just thought of when you said that, my dear friend Dawn Lewis is in South Loop Food, something it's called, and I know I'm messing this up, but it's in the South Loop. You can look it up. Dee's Roti is what her name is on Instagram, and
Mm,
she makes Trinidadian food, and
yeah.
she's trying out a vegan salt fish and bake.
Oh, wow. I would
I
love.
was like, I'd like to try it because I can't have fish, so I
Yeah.
love bake.
Oh, wow. No fish.
Yeah, no
Wow.
seafood, none at all. So,
Wow.
I would love to try it. So, but yeah, there is so many. I did a talk for a bunch of chefs, and I was like, you have to the chefs were learning about allergy friendly because they cook for a corporation that has offices across the world.
Yeah.
So in other countries, different allergens are the top 8 or whatever. So you
Hmm.
have to they have to incorporate all of them. So I told them what they need to do is be creative, and the sky is not the limit. Just try, and keep going, and
Hmm.
just be as creative as humanly possible. Because if cauliflower can be chicken, pizza, what else?
Hmm.
Mashed potatoes. I mean, then
Right. Yeah.
rice. Then you can create things that are edible and taste good. Because that's
Good.
the
Yeah.
one thing about me when I'm losing weight. I need my food to taste good. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
not trying to eat grass, and, I want food
Yeah.
that
You
tastes
want it
good.
to satisfy you. Yeah.
Right. So I still enjoy eating. So,
Mhm.
so that's why it's important. And that's what I'm excited that you have found these substitutes
Mhm.
so that you're dairy free, but you can,
Mhm.
help all these other people that are nut free,
Yeah.
and they can still enjoy cookies. Because as I mentioned, it's great, this thing says vegan, but then you go and it's like this nuts and
Cashew
this.
based.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or soy. Soy is actually part of the nut family, is what my doctor told me, because I drank soy milk as a child and wheezed
Mhm.
every day. And as soon as she said that and we stopped the soy milk, I stopped wheezing every day.
Wow.
So I don't do soy either on top of
Mhm.
nuts.
Okay.
So it's just refreshing to hear and exciting to hear people being so innovative. And, the other day, everybody eats. Nicole, her thing, she's top 14 allergen friendly. So
Wow.
she takes in the European ones too. So
Mhm.
I was just like, wow.
Mhm.
People who are gluten free can eat her stuff. Like, it's just
Mhm.
amazing. And she
Yeah.
has crackers and crisp breads. And it's just,
Yes, I saw.
right. I'm like, I can't imagine. But,
Yeah.
like her thing says, everybody eats. So this way, everyone can indulge in her products,
Mhm.
not just a specific,
Yeah.
segment of people. And so that's why. Thank you
Yeah.
kindly. I so appreciate you. And I'm so excited because, like I said, I love cookies. I am a cookie monster. So I am so excited, and I will support any way I can. I'm so excited to go back to Chicago and go into the stores regularly and get your stuff. And hopefully I can help you to get it in other places as well. And so thank you guys. This has been an awesome food allergy awareness week for 2022. I think this has been our first food allergy awareness week.
Oh,
But
wow.
next week, because it is still Asthma and Allergy Awareness Month, next week we have Robin Wilson home. So Robin Wilson had allergies and created all sorts of bedding and stuff that is allergen friendly. And many people probably have no idea. But if you read my lovely book, Mommy, I Can't Breathe, you would read about how my mother came home and said, well, we have to change your sheets. We have to, she said, get rid of my stuffed animals. She just put plastic on them because she knew that was going to break my heart. So they were in plastic bags. But I have special things on my mattress, special things on my pillows, all these things so that I don't get sick. And obviously it's worked. I still have these things to this day on my pillows and on my mattress and stuff. So Robin has created an entire line, and I'm so excited to check it out. She she's actually I saw something about the White House. So she's pretty big time. Yeah. So that is who we are talking to on Thursday at 6, our usual time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Pacific. And May 26th, we have a really, 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 really big guest. And if you are on my list, the Ask Dr. Renee list, then you already know who it is. But if you're not, you should get on the list. And when I send out the newsletter, probably today or tomorrow, then you'll know who it is. But I'll definitely announce it on Thursday. But thank you so much, Danielle, for your time and for, catering to this crazy population. And so we appreciate it. And thank you so much. And everyone, have an awesome weekend. And I will see you next
Bye.
time.
Thank you.